Hey everybody, Jason Mancuso here with the Anthony Butera Team at Keller Williams Realty, joined again by Steve Popowych. We are going to dive in today about what to expect when you're expecting
Yeah.
to buy a home.
To buy a home. Yeah. Let's make sure we make that clear, right?
You have an offer accepted. Your congratulations, you have an offer accepted.
Yeah.
You're under contract to purchase a home. Now what? That's the topic today.
Now what?
So you've gone through the I hate to say torture, but you've gone through the process of looking at homes. You know, probably lost out on a few offers that you made.
Yep.
You finally got one to stick.
Yeah. I drug you to home to home to home.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know, whether you've looked at 10 or 50.
Yeah.
You got one to stick.
Yep.
You're under contract.
Yeah.
So let's play this. First day under contract.
First day.
Offer accepted.
Gotcha.
Now what?
Well, first thing we got to do is we got all the offer accepted. We got a full contract now, right?
Yep.
The first thing is getting it over to the attorneys.
Yep.
New York State, attorney state.
Yep.
You have to use an attorney here. And, you know, that attorney has typically 3 days to approve that contract.
Yep.
So what that means
Both
is
sides. Seller and buyer have an attorney.
Exactly.
And the attorney has to approve the contract.
And it's laid out on that contract who everybody's attorney is.
Yep.
So we all know, right? Everybody knows. It's all knowledge of everybody, right? Who has who for an attorney. So we're going to send it over to the attorneys. The attorney's going to reach out to you. They're going to pretty much summarize the contract that we've written to you. Make sure that you're okay with it. Mm-hmm. Make sure that you don't have any legal questions.
Yep.
And they're going to send out their approval.
Yep.
Okay? So there's kind of two things in one here that are going to happen. You're going to have the attorneys reviewing, calling you, okay, everything's good, approval's out. Also, within 48 hours of an accepted offer, we have to get what we call a good faith deposit or escrow, whatever they want to call it.
Yep.
Money over to the listing agent's brokerage to hold. Then that's money that says, hey, listen, we're in on this contract. We're not going to bail out of it. Here's some money to hold of ours, just to say that we're in. It's good faith.
Yep.
And
it goes towards the total closing cost
exactly.
at the end.
Yep. So $20,000. Let's say you need $20,000 to close. You give $5,000 in good faith. Now you're gonna have to bring $15,000 to the closing table.
Correct.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
And they get super you say, oh, we need $5,000 from you. Oh, we need 10,000 or whatever the number is. You know what I mean? Depending on the purchase price of the home and the scenario and all that. And they get, whoa, I gotta give you 5 plus I'm gonna need 20.
Right.
No.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Towards it. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So
what happens is the brokerages will disperse, to the attorneys as needed.
Yep.
Most times, if it's a big deposit, then disbursement would be needed after closing. But most of the times, a listing broker holds it, and then that's a lot of times where the commissions get
pushed out. Yeah, absolutely.
So, but overall, for a buyer, it's
it's money off closing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
bottom line for them. Yeah.
Let's dive into the attorney approval process.
Yeah.
So basically, a deal is not a deal until both attorneys approve it.
Yeah. There's still that's what
you have ink dried, seller signed it, you signed it.
It's a handshake.
You got a contract.
It's a handshake.
That essentially doesn't mean squat.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a handshake.
Until both attorneys sign off on it.
Absolutely.
Now, the way that I explain this to buyers and sellers is, look at just that way in terms of, hey, this is great. I'm not saying congratulations. I know I started the show with that. But I don't really say congratulations till they get the keys.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
No, absolutely. Yeah.
And we'll dive into more of that. But that first real sweat it out period for either party, buyer or seller, is okay, great. In theory, both parties are agreeable to everything.
Yeah.
Agents have done their job, gotten the contract together, negotiated it. Everybody's happy at that point.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Both buyer and seller need to get with their attorney.
Yeah.
And issue a final approval to that contract.
It's a 3 business day approval too.
Yep.
So if it comes into the attorney on Friday morning,
it's tricky.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah. Assuming there's not a holiday on Monday.
Right? Assuming there's not a holiday on Monday. Then it's Wednesday, right? Yeah. So it's that's really it's a good amount of time. And things happen during that time, right?
And that's where on the listing side, like, don't get me wrong, like, kind of like all is fair in love and war type of thing. And if you're a seller and like there's more money or a better deal available to you, even after you've signed off on this one, I get it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people out there that are like, nope, I'm a person of my word, and I'm going to honor this. I feel better about this. Yeah. But I mean, in that period, like, a lot can happen because there's been showings, there's been other interest potentially up until that point. Yeah. A lot of times, what happens is like it goes under contract, and then the other parties are like, oh, it's almost like people want it more once they realize they can't have it type of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Throw out a last ditch effort type of thing.
Yeah.
Get it. Yeah. So like explaining to buyers, especially, like, hey, sit tight. Yeah. I know you're in. Yeah. We got to make sure that you don't score till you score type of thing. Yeah. And the first part of that, which is one of the most important pieces, is the seller's attorney has to approve it. Once you get that as a buyer, then you can kind of wipe the brow a little bit and feel a little better.
A little better, yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, something that too, like, buyers have to realize too, from a listing agent standpoint is like, it's our seller's decision at the end of the day.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So if they tell us, like, hey, listen, I know we've accepted this awesome contract and we want to continue to show the home during the attorney approval period, they absolutely can.
Yep. And we also have to advise them of the options and put them in a position to choose.
Absolutely.
Because we had to come from the angle of like, hey, we don't have to be done yet.
Yep.
If you want to keep showing it, we can. We do have to change the status of the listing to indicate, hey, there is an accepted offer.
For sure.
We'll still show it if you're interested, knowing that we don't have an attorney approval yet.
Yeah.
So we have to let the market know.
We do.
But, this card,
it's tricky.
It can get played.
It's tricky.
Yep. It's tricky. And as agents, again, like, we have to make sure that we're making everybody aware of that.
Yeah.
And, especially on the buyer end, like, hey, let's,
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't say rarely. I don't know. 90-something% of the time, there's not a disapproval coming, right?
Yeah.
So, even 95 maybe.
I mean, I usually, like, if there's something that's going to occur, typically before I get disapproval, the other agent's going to call me.
Yeah, for
say,
sure.
You know what I mean? Like, hey,
but
Steve,
it is,
listen,
it also ends up being kind of the cold feet factor.
It's not fun
for either party, right? And that happens, but most of the time it doesn't, because if you, as an agent, if you're working with a buyer, like, you really want to, you want to get past that point of, if you're making an offer, it's like, I'm all in. Otherwise, I wouldn't be making an offer type of thing. Yeah. But stuff happens. So,
it does.
So it's there. It's there for the protection.
It is
of both parties.
Yeah, so it's a buyer's kind of remorse protection, didn't know what I got into protection, over my head protection. I mean, there's a lot to it. You know what I mean? It's,
I'll toot our horn here. I think, that 95%, call it, rate of not having any issues with attorney disapprovals probably speaks to the way that we run our business as agents.
For sure.
And making sure that we're doing everything we can to not just
throw deals out the window.
Throw something out there and then have the buyer have cold feet.
Yeah, I don't.
But with other agents, not to disparage anybody, but with other agents, it's probably a lower rate because there aren't enough of the due diligence type of stuff addressed up front. And then you do get under contract, it's like, oh shit, what just happened?
Yeah, and I think we need to ask a lot of questions to our buyers to see where they're at, to make sure they're comfortable with the decision they're making.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And there's some phenomenal banks out there that really show you financially what you're getting into, and I think that prevents the cold feet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's a total package, right?
It is.
The financial side and we love this house.
Exactly, because I think knowing how much money to expect the day of closing is very important.
Yep.
What the monthly payment's going to look like.
Yep.
Have the conversation around tax increases. These are all things that, as agents, we should be talking to our buyers about, so that during that 3-day period, every option that could potentially give them cold feet has already been discussed.
Correct.
We've talked about it before we even put pen to paper.
Yeah. No, that's how we want to run it, right?
Yeah,
in terms of talking with the formality or talking with the attorney about it is just a formality.
Yeah.
Because you've already heard it all from us.
Exactly. They should be like, yep, I know exactly what that is, and we're moving forward.
And we're more than competent with the contractual side of it too.
Exactly.
In terms of like, it's not like the attorney needs to review it to see what we messed up.
No, yeah.
It's just a matter of like, hey, I'm the attorney. New York's an attorney closed state.
Yeah.
Want to make sure you know what you're getting into,
Yeah.
and let's go over it. And they say, yeah.
And the attorneys that we work with on the regular,
Yeah.
they know what I'm going to have in a contract and what I'm not. They've seen, hundreds of contracts that I've written.
Well, and it's just a good insurance policy too, in terms of like, if there is a mistake,
Yes.
the attorney can catch it.
Yes.
Hey, we left this out, right?
Well, yeah. Well, quirky things happen too. I mean, like every deal's different. Sometimes there's a post-possession involved, and so the attorney will call me and say, "Hey, Steve, what are we doing daily rate on this? Are we, there's all these different things that go on that we have to communicate." And a lot of times, the attorneys that we use, they're calling me up and they're saying, "Hey, listen, saw this, not the normal that you normally would write in a contract, right?"
Mm-hmm. What's going on? And they're asking me that question before they're even reaching out to the clients that they know. You know what I mean? Yep.
That way, if the clients ask them questions, because sometimes there's legal questions, especially on like a post-possession, that they really do need to ask the attorney. And, I prep my people to say, hey, listen, these are questions that you should be asking your attorney when he calls to approve the contract.
Yep. Here's my take. Let's get
Exactly.
Let's get it from the attorney, though.
Let's get it from the attorney. Let's get the legal end of it.
So, important topic, and that's why we spent that much time on it.
Super important.
The reality is we're only 3 days in now.
Right?
So, that's all right. Both attorney approvals come.
Yeah.
You got a fully ratified deal.
Yeah.
Deposits in. The deposit, again, is essentially, your skin in the game as a buyer.
Yeah.
Hold you to it.
Yep.
Something that, kind of makes it difficult to walk away from in the 11th hour if if you have to, right? I guess, or if you want to, because it's serious stuff.
It happens sometimes.
It does. There's life happens, right? But this is, I think the way that I look at it is like, this prevents just the loosey-goosey attitude of like, maybe I'll buy this home, maybe I won't.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you have $10,000 or even $5,000 on the line, I mean, I know that's a good amount of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to just walk away from that money.
Right.
I mean, and most people.
And I'm not going to cut the check either until I know,
exactly.
I'm pretty serious.
Like,
right?
when you're handing that check over to the admin at the office that you're turning it into, it's one of those things they don't really want to let go. You know what I mean? I don't blame them. I mean, I get it. It's a good amount of money.
Skin in the game.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
All right. Attorney approvals, deposit in.
Yeah.
Now what?
Okay, so now we're going to get you most of the time over to the lender.
Yep.
I mean, that's the next thing. So when the contract comes in, it goes out to the attorneys, it goes out to our admins to process through our system. It's going out to, your lender, so they have a copy of the contract too. Once the attorney approval's in, good faith deposits turn in, now we're getting you over to the lender. That's when they're going to start the application phase of the mortgage.
Yep.
So this is when we've done a pre-qual.
Yep.
We've answered basic questions. They've looked at your credit. They've looked at you financially. You qualify for this home. Everything makes sense.
Now, as a preface to that,
Yeah.
a good lender is really going to take a decent deep dive in order to issue that pre-qualification so that they know when the application comes in, it's more or less a formality that, there's going to be a final approval to it. And
Absolutely.
It's not like, we missed this in the pre-qual stage and we can't approve this buy.
Yeah, absolutely. Your lender should be asking for verification of income, all of that good stuff. They should want to know financially. Credit,
income,
everything.
Debt,
history,
everything, etc.
What do you have? How much, debt do you have? How much home can you afford based on that, debt to income ratio?
Yep.
There's a lot of things that a good lender is going to dig in with, know? And, usually it's a pretty quick process to get pre-qualified. You know what I mean? It's not like it takes 2 months or 2 weeks even sometimes.
You're going to turn some information in, hard data, documents, whatever.
For sure.
Other stuff, if it's not a requirement to turn it in for the pre-qual, don't lie to them.
Absolutely.
They're going to find out everything there is to know about you.
They're going to look into your bank statements.
Yep.
They're going to source where your money's coming from. They want to know everything. They're going to be best friends with you by the time this is done financially.
They're literally looking at your bank statements. They're going to know how you spend your money.
Exactly.
You know, if
Everywhere.
you know, whatever. If you're at Show World every weekend, they're
They're
going to
going to
know
know.
about it.
Yeah. And they might tell you to cut back that spending, right? Yeah. I mean, you know.
So, you know, be prepared, I guess.
Yeah,
And also,
absolutely.
like, if you think you can get away with just your money sitting in a shoebox and you're going to use that to buy a house,
It's not always working.
that doesn't work.
No.
So,
Nope.
you know, be aware.
Yeah.
Don't lie to the lender. Hopefully, you're not even in that position of making an offer when, you know, things haven't been
Yeah.
pretty well verified.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you do have an accepted offer and then
Yeah.
you have to go through that verification process
Absolutely.
or that final approval process,
Yeah.
this is what's happening.
Oh yeah, and I mean they're like I said, they're digging deep.
Right.
I mean, we're talking like 2 months of bank statements, 2 months of pay stubs.
Yep.
They want to make sure everything's consistent, you know?
And then on top of that, don't change anything with your financial
No.
situation.
Don't. This is what we preach to people,
Yeah.
right? I mean, like, this is what we
Don't
preach
buy
to
a
them.
pack of gum on a credit card if you don't use your credit card.
Exactly.
Don't open it. Don't go buy a car. Don't go to Kohl's and open a credit. You know,
Yep.
Do
Don't
not
go buy furniture.
change anything. Literally nothing.
Nothing.
Other than your standard spending
Yes.
or whatever you call it.
Don't change the amount of hours you're working in a week.
Yeah. You
That's
have
a
to
big thing.
maintain everything going
Yeah.
to the close.
And I think this is where like a lot of like agents sometimes drop the ball, right? Is, you know, especially here in Rochester, we get a lot of seasonality to some of our work. I mean, like construction workers,
Sure.
different lines of work, landscapers, whatever, you know, I mean, so it's like, okay, now, especially this time of year, if I get you pre-qual in August and we don't find a home until end of September, and then we're 60 days to close, we're in November.
And your work hours have changed. Like, yeah, that can be a
Yeah,
problem. Yep.
that's a problem, right? So like,
Stuff you got to think through.
yeah, absolutely.
And
We
it
have
just
to, you know,
requires the transparency of your entire life situation around
Absolutely.
financial side
Yes.
anyway, with the lender.
Yeah.
With us.
Yes.
To a degree.
No,
You know,
for
we
sure.
Don't, we don't
Yeah.
we don't see your bank statements.
No, yeah, of course
But
not, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like
But we are
somebody
gonna,
will.
But yeah, exactly. But I mean, I ask the questions, and you know, maybe sometimes it's, you know, personal, but like I like to make sure that we have that trust. I want to know, like, before we're even writing that offer, financially, is this affordable for you?
Right. Yep.
You know, and I think it's important really for people to be open and transparent with us
Are you comfortable with it?
about how much money they have.
Yep.
You know, we don't judge people. We see everybody.
Yeah.
You know, so we know all different financial situations.
It's
you know?
a matter of what you're comfortable with,
Yeah,
establishing that, and then moving forward.
exactly.
So.
Yeah.
All right. So lenders asking for your life story financially.
Yeah.
They run through it. It's going to go through what's called underwriting.
Yep.
You know, the loan officer is going to work with their underwriting team and their
Yeah.
processors to issue a mortgage commitment.
Yeah. I tell people, look at that underwriter as the investigator.
Sure. Yeah.
They are the person. Your loan officer is going to collect all the documentation needed,
Yep.
hand it to that underwriter, and that underwriter is going to be the one that digs into it.
Yep.
And they're going to look at every piece of your credit. If you had a late payment
Yep.
a year and a half ago, you're
gonna
probably going to have to explain what happened. If you know, did something funky financially, made a big career move, more or less money, they're
Yep.
probably going to ask what happened.
Here's the concept: is the bank's not in the business of just
Yeah.
handing out free money
Yeah.
with high risk to it.
Well, we've seen what happens with
These are business decisions for the banks.
Yep.
And they just want to make sure that they've done everything that they can
Yeah.
to, mitigate risk as much as possible with the individual that they're loaning money to.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, sure, you could say like, well, the bank's going to get the house back. If it doesn't work out, the bank's not in that business.
Yeah.
That's a safety net for them. In the worst case scenario, they'd rather avoid
It's a
that.
lot. It's a lot of expense.
They'd
too.
rather
Yeah.
just you pay their mortgage that you get on time over a 30-year period.
For
or
sure.
whatever.
Yeah.
So this is their business to make sure that they're giving you money to buy a house and that they're confident you're going to be able to make the payments and pay it back.
For sure.
That's all.
Yeah.
Part of that process is an appraisal,
Absolutely.
which, again, business decision of the bank. They're going to have a third-party appraiser come in and say, yeah, they're under contract for 200.
It's worth 200.
I've done my research, and this house is worth 200 or more.
Yep.
If it's not, now you got a problem.
Yeah. Now we got to get back to renegotiating.
You're renegotiating with the seller. What's happened a lot in the recent years of this market is people, buyers have been, waiving the appraisal essentially, saying that, hey, if it doesn't appraise for this high number that I'm offering, then I'll chip in more. So that the
Or a
bank,
certain dollar
the bank
amount.
can still approve everything, and I'll come to the table with more cash.
Yeah.
But that's an important part of the process too.
And I think, honestly, truthfully, I've not had many appraisal issues. I think I've had one in the last 3-4 years, you know?
Yep.
I think truthfully, like,
Based on the market,
For
the market's been going up.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think, if we're doing our job as agents, I should feel very comfortable and not be worried about an appraisal.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I
because
think
if we are worried, then we have to tell our clients about
absolutely.
it. Like, hey,
We have to be transparent.
I love that you love this house and you want to offer this much for it, and you
You're paying
won
too much?
But like, I don't know, this thing's going to appraise, which basically means that the bank's going to tell you you're paying too much.
Absolutely.
Now, how do you feel?
Yeah. Do you
And
still
then
love it?
that can be like, well, okay, thank you, good point, and we don't love it anymore, or we love it at this price, or what's been a trend in recent years, like, I don't care.
Okay.
I want this house.
It's crazy.
Okay.
I don't care. I've heard a lot
It's
of
not about CYA.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, making sure again,
Yeah.
most important financial decision for most people.
Yeah.
Let's make sure you're making that
Absolutely.
in the right way, or
Yeah.
that you're aware.
Yeah.
We only got a couple minutes, so
Okay.
back to the attorney side. So you get your mortgage commitment,
Yep.
and we skipped over inspections because
Well, I mean,
that's still not a thing.
It's not a thing, really.
I hope that does come back,
Yeah.
and then that'll be part of the process right after that attorney approval period.
Yeah.
Essentially in the first week, you get an inspection done and decide that you're moving forward from there, or renegotiating if you need to.
Asking for repairs, credits, whatever.
For now, we're not seeing inspections. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's 90+% of the time offers are coming in without inspections.
Yeah. Yeah.
So skip over that.
So you apply, you get your commitment letter.
You have your official mortgage commitment,
Yep.
which is the bank saying, we're done. We're giving them the money.
We're good, but.
Assuming nothing changes in the next few weeks before closing.
Yeah.
But we're ready to go on
Yes.
our end as long as the buyer stays the same.
Exactly.
Now back to the attorneys.
Yeah, because they're going to do title work.
Yep.
So they want to make sure that the property you're buying, nobody else claims any rights to it, has any liens on it. You know, they want to make sure that you're not taking on somebody's financial burden.
Yep.
And that's exactly what they're doing.
Yep.
And then, also doing the survey on the property.
Yep.
Make sure the land is what the land is.
Correct.
What we've spelled out in the contract, make sure that's truly the land.
Yep. All this gets described as clean title.
Clean title. Yep.
And
Yep.
just, basically, and it's, title is a thing in every state.
Yep.
In New York, like, attorneys deal directly with it in conjunction with title companies,
For sure.
abstract companies.
Yep.
But, it's just a matter of that attorney doing their end of it to make sure that somebody from generations ago that owned the house
Yeah.
doesn't show up at your door one day, knock on it and say, hey,
Yeah.
good old Grandpa Bob used to own this land, and
He didn't pay his taxes.
Yeah, or I don't think it was settled properly,
Yeah.
and I'm claiming a piece to this.
Exactly.
And they actually do, and
And it can happen.
It can happen.
Yeah.
But this process should eliminate that as much as possible.
And you can also buy title insurance policies
Correct.
too that protect you.
Yeah, to protect you in that event if something is missed or not dug up properly.
And a lender requires you
Yes.
to purchase that for them.
You can't skip over this process. You have to
Yeah.
have clean title.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's so people always it gets confusing for people because us as agents, we talk about this kind of stuff all the time with attorneys, right? And we hear objection to title, right?
Right.
And you hear that, I hear that, we know, you know what I mean? But when you're dealing with a buyer, they don't know, right?
Right.
So when we say something like there's an objection to title,
Yeah.
we mean that there's something on title that's saying this isn't clean. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it could be very minute or it could be very big.
Right.
So that's where we kind of have to explain it to people.
Yep. So, and again, rapid fire because we got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
But title's clean. Loan is then what's called clear to close
Clear to
because
close.
the bank knows that title's clean, the loan's ready to go, the buyers, everything's been verified, scheduled closing, typically a week later.
Yep.
You're doing a final walkthrough with your agent,
Yep.
basically going to the house, making sure everything's in good shape.
Just as it was when you
Still
purchased.
standing, yep,
Yep.
as it was when you purchased.
Yep.
No damage when they moved out.
Yep.
Nothing's broken. Everything's working.
Yep.
You test everything out at that time. You turn the water on, turn the hot water on, turn the heat on, turn the AC on if it's not wintertime.
It's not wintertime.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just making sure you're moving
Yeah.
in with a good working order.
Yeah, for sure.
Closing the next day.
Yeah, then your attorney's going to give you numbers, though. So that's one thing,
Sure. Part of
Yeah.
that, part of all that is you get
Yeah.
everything at this point is, I hate to say estimated because they're usually you know,
It's close.
If you're working with people that
Yeah.
are doing good, like they're
close.
pretty spot on.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get that final down to the cent of
Yes.
you know what you need to
I
check.
need a
Yep.
check for this amount of money at closing.
Then you go to closing, sign your life away,
Sign.
and
Yeah.
get the keys.
Yeah.
What's not talked about a lot is you're still not done.
Yeah.
You're done, but then the attorneys have to put it on record with the county.
Yep.
And then it's done.
Then it's done.
Till it
You're the
goes on
owner.
record, deed recorded, there's still a what if.
And
but at that
yeah.
point, like, I'll put it this way.
Yeah.
In the thousands of deals we've done, I've never had one of it closed, buyer gets the keys, and something happened to where it didn't go on record and deal died.
The attorneys have done their due diligence to make sure that there's not going to be a problem at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, and you know, and you know, that's why we, you know, hire great attorneys to work for you. And
Yeah,
you know,
no, I mean, and this is why you need a real estate attorney, because there's a
Yeah.
lot to this process on the
Oh,
line.
yeah.
Don't hire your Uncle Bill, who's a litigation
Yes.
attorney,
Not-
who doesn't
not
do real estate, but
Yes.
he's an attorney. Sure, he can, but
Yeah.
he's going to be in the weeds.
or if you're moving,
Just like you wouldn't hire a real estate attorney to go defend you for
Exactly.
murder.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
whatever.
Yeah. And just like, and the same thing happens when you're moving. I hear a lot of people move from out of town or out of state, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Well, my attorney in Syracuse or my attorney in New Jersey
keep
or
it
my
local.
my attorney in Maryland." You know, and I'm like, guys, listen, like, we need to have somebody right here in the trenches in Rochester who
Yep.
knows how our market
Has
works.
the relationship, knows how
Yep.
the market works.
Exactly.
Can physically get down to the county and record the deed.
Absolutely.
What your attorney in Syracuse, they can come down for that?
Probably
for you?
not.
For you?
Probably not.
They're going to figure out a way to get somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. Yeah. No, here.
Anywho, that's an abbreviated, rapid fire. What to expect when you're under contract as a buyer.
What to expect when you're expecting a new home.
Good stuff. Steve Popowych of the Anthony Butera Team, Jason Mancuso here as always. Thanks for tuning in to the Rochester Real Estate Show, guys.